How can we talk about getting happy when it feels as though the world is crumbling down around us? And not only will it help you to nurture your own positivity, it will also help you to help all the people around you. Positive psychology gives us the means to do this, I know from experience. Hello, and welcome to Happy Stuff and Love. My name's Christine L. Conroy. Before I start the video, I would just like to give a very heartfelt, warm welcome to my new subscribers. I'm delighted that you've decided to join us. Today's video has come about because quite a few of you have contacted me, and I'm having conversations all the time, and I hear you asking questions such as how can we talk about getting happy when it feels as though the world is crumbling down around us. And I do understand the question. So today I'm going to attempt to answer it. First of all, those of you who are new here probably don't know my story. I'll come to that in a second. But I'm a positive psychology practitioner, and positive psychology helped me enormously through some very dark days in my own life. But just to tell you a positive psychology definition that I read recently that I rather enjoyed by one of the founding fathers of positive psychology, Chris Peterson. And he says this, he says that positive psychology is a scientific approach to studying human thoughts, feelings and behaviour with a focus on strengths instead of weaknesses, building the good life instead of repairing the bad, and taking the lives of average people up to great instead of focusing solely on moving those who are struggling up to normal. So it's a different side to psychology. And I love that definition. Now, there's lots of things, obviously, that prevent our happiness. And on this channel, the whole channel, every video is about helping you to raise your happiness levels. Now, the thing is, excuse me, it's not as easy as it sounds, as you well know. We have to work at these things. You have to work at increasing your happiness. It's your responsibility to do that. But we now have the tools to help us to do it. As I say, positive psychology helped me. You see, we have this evolutionary wired negativity bias. So in prehistoric times, we needed to think negatively or pessimistically in order to survive. Now, today, in today's modern world, whilst we still need a healthy dose of caution, shall we say, this prehistoric negativity bias just gets in our way. Most of us focus far too much and far more on the negative than the positive. And what's more, negative experiences produce much stronger emotions than do positive experiences. Now, these negative emotions very often trigger irrational, fear-based thoughts that lead to anxiety and depression, and very often damage our ability to function effectively. So this highlights how vitally important it is, especially in today's world, for you to nurture your own mental well-being, for you to nurture your own happiness and well-being. And of course, that's what I'm interested in, helping you to nurture your own happiness and well-being in spite of what's happening around you. Now, many of you, as I say, are asking me, how do we do this in the face of the constant barrage of conflict in the world and negativity in our societies? Now, of course, the war in Ukraine and now the war in the Middle East, these are situations that we should be concerned about. Of course we should. Of course we should. But if we allow ourselves to get sucked into that downward spiral of negativity, we render ourselves helpless. We are of no help to ourselves, or for that matter, anybody else. Excuse me. So what do we do about it? Well, I'm going to say something that I've said a zillion times before and that I know some of you disagree with, but I'm going to say it again. Be mindful of how much and how you consume the news. Now, this is not betraying the suffering of those people caught up in these conflicts. Empathy, compassion, your ability to help does not hinge on your personal distress or on you witnessing the distress of others. Rather, empathy, compassion, and your ability to help hinges on your ability to think rationally and to be able to effectively support others, or to take action that will support others. Positive psychology gives us the means to do this, I know from experience. So briefly, if you don't know, I lost the three most important women in my life, my mother, my sister, and my daughter, to cancer. Over the course of 30 years, that's what I've dealt with. That's been my personal battle, if you like. And more recently, I lost my daughter at the age of 32 to cancer. So when I talk about increasing happiness and well-being, it's not because I come from a place of charmed existence. It's because I have been down there at rock bottom. It's because I've spoken to people in my practice who have been at rock bottom. And positive psychology has given us a way through that and allows me to this day to get through a day by doing the things that I'm going to talk about in a second. So on this channel, we've talked many times about looking for the good every day. If you remember, I even had a sign on my wall. Look for the good every single day. This is more important to us now than ever. But we do need to go a little bit deeper. We need to hardwire happiness into your brains. That's what we need to do. You have to step up here and practice. These things only work if you practice them. It needs to be a daily practice. So I have a strategy for you that, as I say, I want you to do every single day. And not only will it help you to nurture your own positivity, it will also help you to help all the people around you. Okay, so I want you to have a look at this. It's called the GLAD strategy. It's an everyday practice, a journal practice if you like, but eventually, hopefully, you'll start to feel these things in the moment when you are present enough over the course of the day to recognise what's happening to you. And of course, the first part of the GLAD strategy, the G, is for gratitude. Now, gratitude has suffered from its own success in recent times, I think, but it's so successful because it's so effective. If you can practice an attitude of gratitude, remember to do it. A lot of the time it's because we just forget. So pay attention to thankfulness and appreciation, which is what gratitude is, isn't it? This will help you to start to see the good in the small things that happen in the course of a day. The L is for learning. Now, learning something new is part of the Conroy concept of happiness. So we've done quite a bit on the benefits of learning something new, but here we're talking about just the small things, just a little something new, a fact that you know today that you didn't know yesterday. Maybe you learned something new about a person that you didn't know about before. Or you could dig deep into a subject to give you greater understanding of something. Learning something new like this is empowering and uplifting. And then we have A for achievement. So instead of at the end of the day looking at all the things you didn't manage to do, oh, I didn't do this today, I should have done that, and I should have done this. No, that stops. I'm only shouting at you because I know you can't shout back at me. Well, I suppose you could in the comments, but anyway, you have to stop that. You must stop this thinking about what you didn't do and instead start to focus on all the things you did do. So I'm not talking here about achieving huge goals or achieving great things. I'm talking about the small things. I'm talking about crossing things off on your to-do list and the pleasure that that gives you, the satisfaction that that gives you. I'm talking about cooking something amazing for your family. Heaven knows this is something that I've never managed to achieve. Well, certainly not in recent years anyway. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Clearing out a cupboard. You achieved that. You managed to make time to work out or to go for a walk. Those are the things. So ask yourself the questions. What did I achieve today? And then delight. Experiencing joy. Finish this sentence for me. Moments of pleasure. I heard you. For those of you who are new, moments of pleasure, small and often, are what get you through the day. Moments of pleasure. Have you ever actually stopped and listened to a bird sing? I did that this morning. It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful, just for a few seconds even. Listening to the birds sing took my mind off absolutely everything else and I focused on the birds singing. Maybe flowers in your garden. Actually look and study a flower and catch its beauty and marvel at its beauty just for those few seconds. And feel the pleasure that that gives you. Now, in order to do these things, you have to be present in the moment and conscious that you're doing these things. So part of the GLAD strategy, if you're doing this in your journal and you're asking yourself these questions at night, what did I have to be grateful for today? What new things did I learn today? What did I achieve today? And what delighted me today? When you are writing about those things, each individual element, just take a few minutes to actually savour those things, to feel the pleasure that they give you. Ask yourself, why? How were you able to achieve that? What was your role in that achievement? Why were you grateful for something? And who was involved? Excuse me, I'm going to choke. Excuse me, I'm so passionate about this subject. I'm damaging my throat. So if you can do that, if you can take some time to savour, what you're actually doing is hardwiring your brain. You are carving out new neural pathways in your brain. You've heard the saying, neurons that wire together, that fire together, wire together. You are hardwiring these pathways in your brain that with practice every day get stronger and stronger, which will then make you able to create these positive emotions and feel these positive emotions more easily. And this is what we want, because this now puts you on the upward spiral of positivity instead of the downward spiral to negativity. And what does that do? We know what positive emotions do for us. When you're on that upward spiral of positivity, positivity broadens and builds your mind. It makes you more creative. So now you can start to think about how can you practically help the particular situation that you're concerned about. What can you do? Now you can think about how you can help in any situation that you are currently concerned about. So if it is the Israeli Hamas situation, the Ukraine situation, could you donate to those people dedicated to conflict resolution? or volunteer to do something for them? Could you donate money or time to humanitarian aid? Maybe donate to those suffering directly because of conflict. If it's locally, can you write to your MP or government representative and let them know that you are concerned about something locally? Now that you're on the positivity spiral, you can do that. You can do that. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing more on these subjects. You know, positive psychology is not just about the individual. It's also about institutions, and it's about governments, and it's about the workplace. And maybe we will broaden our scope and talk about those things in the next few months. But I just want to leave you with this thought. As human beings, our capacity for hope and positivity is surely a source of motivation for compassion and peace. Please let me know what you think in the comments box down below, and I will see you next time. Until then, remember that on the Happy Stuff of Love, we're getting happy, living longer and growing younger. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.